Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all well. Few things this week just to chat about. It's a bit of a shorter one this week. I've got a bit of a sore throat, and I've done a lot of talking this week, so I'm going to take it easy. Had an interesting, quite a diverse week, really, but a few things I wanted to pick up on. Had good meeting with Loic and Colin from MHCLG on Monday around publishing national lists of DPDs and policies, and how they might take that forward. They're in contact with lots of local authorities around this stuff to try and do some standardisation and, to be able to provide centralised data on where everyone's at in the country with their local plans. So there was a lot of questions around how we might be able to do that and make that easy for people, but also just a bit of a bit of thought conversation around what the art of the possible might be going forward with the digital local plan stuff. So good to be engaging with government on this. Really, really important. And thanks, they were both really good. So really good to meet them. I suppose a little bit on the back of that, on Tuesday, we had a bit of a wrap up in one of our senior management sessions around the use of Council Anywhere, which is a Microsoft 365 and has been used across my two councils rolled out over the last couple of years. And it's been really, really, really useful. It's been pretty much a seed change for many people. I mean, I know that there's some views on Microsoft, which is fine, but for us, it's been fantastic. It's enabled us to be able to remote work during the COVID crisis. It's enabled all sorts of things to happen. And I think now is a bit of reflect and thinking about what, again, use that sentence, the art of the possible might be, not just thinking about technology, but thinking about actually designing things from a kind of systems approach, which obviously, those of you know my background, I'm very keen on. And it's not just about digital tools, it's about how the digital tools can assist us in doing the right things and leave us to have the human stuff to be done by humans. So that was an interesting conversation, building on sort of some of the tech work that we've been doing this week as well. Some other interesting stuff as well. I had a training session on diversity and inclusion on Thursday, presented by a really lovely lady called Sarah Simcoe. I hope I've got her name right. And it just made me think. It was quite a long session, but it was done really well. And some of these sessions are quite interesting when you start to do them remotely. And it just, started to make me really think about inclusion in the workplace and how broad that is and how we are not great at doing it in many aspects. I've got daughters with special needs and thinking about how they are going to feel included in their lives going forward. I think it's really powerful. And one of the things that we talked about is kind of education and including those potentially who are underrepresented in designing how we manage that. Because, if it's not designed by people who aren't represented, then it's probably a bit of a failure right at the beginning there. Any kind of these kind of strategies for improving diversity and inclusion within workplaces should kind of be iterative, right? And they should learn from implementing them, trying and asking and storytelling. So that was really, really good and got my brain thinking a little bit, and perhaps I'll do a little bit more on that at some point. Today it's a really good Friday. It's our Greater Cambridgeshire Planning Service senior management team kind of touch-in day. It's quite a long session reflecting on 6 months into this year's business plan, what we've achieved, what we haven't achieved, issues around COVID, thinking about reiterating what we do for next year. We've moved on such a long way from when I started here, 3 years ago with the management team. We've got a really good relationship in the terms of the way that we can challenge each other and focus. And, we're looking at moving some of those big clunky projects into a more agile format potentially for next year and reflecting on the things that went well and that didn't. It's just good. I mean, I miss, the kind of sitting around at a table with some whiteboards and cups of tea and biscuits and just being able to do that face to face. But we are where we are with that, and I think that everyone's missing those things. I'm just feeling a bit low, I suppose, because it's just so miserable outside at the moment and very dark and kind of just you know, you feel a bit low to get up, but it's nice to have that conversation. In fact, I'm about to go back into that now. We've had a bit of a break, so I thought I'd use the opportunity to record my week notes. There's probably a few interesting bits in there. The lady, as I said, who done the training yesterday, I'll put her details, her Twitter details in, because you know, she's got some great stuff on her site. She tweets a lot of really useful stuff as well, so important to link in. And yeah, apart from that, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and everyone, and do try and keep your heads up during this second week of lockdown now. And everybody, I hope you all stay safe. Take care.